up?
Nothing much.
Okay, so lots happened since I've last talked to you, I guess. Um, Before I kind of ask you just some follow-up questions since last time, do you
Yeah.
want to kind of just introduce yourself for people who maybe like have heard of you but like don't truly know you, I guess?
Yeah, I'm Graham. I ran for Harvard. Um, and now I'm running for New Balance professionally. And I'm a distance runner and I'm finishing out my degree at Harvard this semester. And then I'll be a full-time professional athlete.
Okay, so I guess I'll kind of pick it up where I think like last before I spoke to you. You went into the Olympic trials. Do you just want to talk about how everything went there? It was pretty, I guess, like crazy experience because you finished fourth and then you still made the team. So
Yeah, it was a crazy weekend. I mean, the Olympic trials, you have to do a prelim, which I wasn't used to. So you get to run 5Ks in like 3 days. And I was, and yeah, I got to the, you have like the standard or the ranking. Um, but the guy in front of me, Parker Wolf, um, who beat me pretty bad that last lap, he ended up getting third, but he didn't end up having the ranking, so I ended up going to the Olympics, which was pretty awesome.
okay, so going in mentally, where were you? Because you've obviously made the team, but at the same time, you didn't auto qualify. So was that more difficult mentally, you think, compared to if you got like third or something?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely felt like I had to prove that I deserved my spot. I felt like
Hmm.
um, I didn't feel any extra pressure or anything because of it, but I was pretty like fired up to get to compete at the Olympics and like wanted to make sure I made the best out of a crazy scenario. So yeah, honestly put me in a really good mindset.
Okay. So do you just want to talk about, I guess, your experience at the Olympics? Obviously, your first Olympic Games, just kind of how everything went.
Yeah, it was super cool. Like got to hang out in the Olympic Village, which was cool, and like see all these athletes from all over the world, all different disciplines. That was really cool. Um, and then getting to, represent the US was amazing as well. But the best part was just really getting to compete in front of such a big crowd. And luckily I got to do it twice because there's also a prelim and a final at the Olympics, and I was lucky enough to make the final. Um, and for both races, like the stadium was just packed, like 80,000 people. Um, it was crazy, loudest race I've ever been in. A beautiful track. Uh, so yeah, like at the end of the day, when I look back and think about the Olympics, I'll definitely just think about getting to compete on that purple track in front of like a massive crowd.
Okay. So what was your least favorite experience at the Olympics and then your favorite experience?
Um, Least favorite, I mean, ooh, I don't know. I mean, I'll say least favorite was, in the Olympic Village, there's all these different people from all over the world, and they're all get put in these buildings, and you're eating together and everything. And you're gonna learn this when you go to college, is because everyone brings all these different germs and stuff that your body isn't used to.
Mhm.
So I got a little bit sick before my race, before my prelim. So I ended up having to spend like a lot of time just sitting in my room trying to feel better. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. I got through my races and stuff, and ended up being all right. But then after I finished my last race, I got really sick. I don't know what I
Oh,
picked up. Like I got like some type of sinus infection or something, and I was like sick for like 2 weeks. Like it was crazy. So that was definitely my least favorite part of the Olympics, but that just kind of is what you got to deal with when when you get to travel and stuff. Um, but yeah, favorite part other than like being, I'll say is getting to see all my family and friends there. New Balance had a great little spot that they rented out, um, that we could go there and get like free food and drinks. So I got to hang out there the whole week. I was in Paris before my race, like during my between races and stuff. And then on the last night of the Olympics, we had a really fun night. All my friends and stuff came to the New Balance place, and like all these other New Balance athletes were there, like Femke Bowl, Cindy McLaughlin, Gabby Thomas, Alex Yee, all the New Balance people, and we just all hung out with them, and it was a lot of fun.
Oh, that's so cool. So, a big thing this year for the Olympics was cardboard beds. How did you think? What were your opinion on those?
They were pretty bad. I won't lie. I mean, I'm not super picky. I spent my the first 3 years of college sleeping in a twin bed on the mattresses they gave us, which are like not great. Uh, this year I wasn't really too worried about sleeping on those cardboard beds because I'm like I can sleep anywhere. They were pretty uncomfortable,
Hmm.
and the rooms themselves were pretty like weird, like very small. They clearly built them up just for the Olympics. Um, but yeah, they were pretty tough. And actually, I now have my I went and got my own bed now, at Harvard, so it's changed. It's made my life so much easier. Makes it harder to get out of bed in the morning, but when you have a nice, comfy bed. But yeah, the cardboard beds are pretty bad.
Okay. So, who was like the coolest, I guess, just person you met there? I mean, there's guys like LeBron James there, so
Yeah.
I feel like it's got to
So
be awesome.
the basketball players, you actually didn't see that much because they weren't in the Olympic Village.
Uh,
Because they know guys like me would just be coming up to them asking for pictures all the time. So they just probably stayed in a hotel somewhere in Paris. So didn't get to meet any of them. Um, Otherwise, I had a fun time hanging out with like the U.S. track team, like everyone on that
mhm.
team. All the distance guys and the sprints and throwers and stuff. Um, Probably the most famous person I saw was either like um it was either like do you know Josh Giddey? He's an NBA player.
I know the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw him in the Olympic Village because he plays for Australia, so they didn't feel like spending all that money on a hotel. And I also saw Katie Ledecky who or Kate
Oh,
Ledecky
that's
or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah,
Katie Ledecky.
who during the Olympics was just like, extremely famous. She had a really good Olympics, and she was staying in the Olympic Village, and she would just like walk around everywhere with her hood on and glasses, so like no one could recognize her. I also sat across, Timothy Chariot.
I do know Timothy Shea.
Yeah, that was pretty cool too. I didn't meet him, but they have this like massive dining hall,
Yeah.
and I was eating breakfast there one morning, and he sat down with some of his teammates right across from me. But they
Oh,
didn't
that's
really
so
talk
cool.
to me or anything. Just happened. They sat
Yeah.
right down. I wanted to say something, but I was like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's so different then because probably before that you've known him as like this great runner you've looked up to, and now you're his competition. So that's got to be
Yeah,
a
I
big
know it.
change.
It's funny. I love Tim Scher. Like I love to watch him run. So, it was kind of funny to like just be sitting there. We both have like our Olympic name tags on, like to get access to the buildings. So yeah, that was pretty cool. I really respect all the Kenyan athletes. I
Yeah.
was probably most starstruck by him, I guess.
I feel like if I was in like the Olympics in your shoes, I would like nerd out from the same race as Jakob Ingebrigtsen, just like seeing him on the start
Yeah,
line. So that's
yeah, it's
definitely
pretty
a
weird
crazy
to
position to be in.
yeah. It's like and you got to do the so at the Olympics and even the Olympic trials, they have this really long process before the races start. You might have heard of this, like the call room. So
Yeah.
basically, you have to report like 30 minutes before your race. You sit down in this room and you're just literally in these chairs, like shoulder to shoulder, like super tight with everyone
Oh.
else that's about to run. And then they would keep you there for 10 minutes and they'll move you to another room for another 10 minutes and then a third room. And so that was pretty crazy, first of all, just to be like, you're sitting in there and like, I have Jakob sitting on my left and then like, whoever is next to me. Um, thankfully, like for the final, like Grant Fisher was there. 'Cause it's nice to just kind of have someone although we're still competitors, so like we didn't really we weren't really chopping it up before the race or anything.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, like all the Ethiopians are there, and they have this like they use this like this cream. I don't know what it is. I think it's like bicarbonate cream, and they
Oh,
apply it on their legs before the race.
yeah.
So they were like putting all this stuff on their legs, and the whole room smelled like this like crazy like medicinal cream. And the Kenyans are there, and like yeah, all the competitors. So that was really cool, like a moment, not like a starstruck moment, but like like wow, like I'm really in the thick of it right now. Like this is like the as big as it gets, and you're like sitting in the room with everyone.
Yeah.
But then the crazy part about Paris, in Eugene, for the Olympic trials, we did that as well, but it's a lot more chill because like everyone's American.
Hmm.
There's a lot less security because it's just the Olympic trials. But the
Yeah.
Olympics was a different thing because so much security, like so many cameras. But in Eugene, the last place they keep you is like right next to where the start line is.
Hmm.
But at the Olympics, you're like way on the other side of the stadium,
Okay.
and they don't want to make you walk across the track or anything, because
Hmm.
it's like a huge competition. So they line us up one is single file, and they walk us through like underneath the bleachers, like in these like tunnels
Hmm.
around the track, and like you can look up and kind of see people up there, and you can hear people screaming. It's like super loud, and everyone's just quiet, and you're just walking with your spikes. I think that
Interesting.
was also a really crazy moment. Yeah, just
Yeah.
like walking with all these guys to the start line. It felt like we were about to get executed. But it really is just kind of like, for the biggest 5K in the world. So that was a really cool experience.
Okay. I feel like I have to ask you this now. What do you think's more crazy? The Ethiopians applying cream all over themselves, or the BYU team oiling up before the race?
Yeah, probably the oil. Because that seems a little more like an old school, like, like a old school coach would be like, oh yeah, just lather up in
Yeah.
oil or Vaseline, it'll keep you warm. At least for the Ethiopians, I guess there's like I understand
Benefit.
why they do it, like
Yeah.
bicarb or something, like, like maybe supposedly helps your legs in the hard parts of the race, but damn, getting coated in olive oil, it worked though. So um
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. So I guess this will probably be my last question about the Olympics. What was like your favorite thing to eat in the cafeteria there?
Mm. Uh, I would always go to like they have like these different sections like
Mhm.
by like region, like the types of foods you would get. And I would always just go to like the local like like Paris European breakfast
Okay.
thing, and I really enjoyed the breakfast. Like they had these nice omelets
Mhm.
and like these little sausages. I'm a big breakfast guy, so that was nice to have something that I could eat every morning that I really enjoyed.
Okay. I heard a lot of talk about the chocolate muffins there.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I was wondering if you tried one.
No, I mean that's why I've been. People ask me about that. I had no idea they were that popular like till
Yeah.
towards the end, and I think like um we were like about to go to the closing ceremonies, and I was with like Hobbs Kessler and like Nico Young, and they were mentioning that, and they actually did closing ceremonies. They hopped out of line and like went to the cafeteria to pick one up to like try it because they kept hearing about it.
Hmm.
And so I got to taste it a little bit, and I was just like, once I tasted it, I was like, okay, this isn't anything special. Like clearly, it's just like a super like sugary,
Yeah.
processed like muffin, like which we like eat all the time in the U.S. Like, so I really think what happened was just a bunch of Europeans eating, and even I know that that happens a lot because I've had people on my team at Harvard who are
Mhm.
like from places in Europe like Hungary um or Luxembourg, like these places where they don't, everything's a little more fresh over there. So when
Yeah.
they come to the US and eat the food in our dining halls, they're like, wow, it's
Well,
like so good, but I miss the fresh food.
Okay. So obviously the Olympics probably had a very big impact on at least the beginning of your cross country season, as it definitely changed your training. How would you say that affected like your beginning of your cross country season?
Yeah, you're totally right. Normally for cross country, you start training in the middle of the summer.
Mhm.
If you're lucky to make, most people probably start training right at the beginning of summer. Um, if you're lucky enough to make like the regional meet for NCAAs, you're gonna have to keep racing for an extra 2 weeks. If you're lucky enough to make NCAAs, you have to race another week. And at that point, like when you get to NCAA outdoor track and field, like that's in like June. Um, and then, if you make even the Olympic trials, like that's even further down the line. So like for example, like Parker Wolf,
Mhm.
um, he started training after the Olympic trials, which was already super late in its own right. Because normally you start training like June, for cross
Yeah.
country. Um, but I got lucky enough to make it all the way to the Olympics, and my last race wasn't until, shoot, I think it might have been like August 9th or something was my
Yeah.
race. And after that you have to take 2 weeks off.
Mhm.
At least that's how we do it at Harvard. It's good to rest after a big season. So I really didn't start training until September,
Yeah.
which was pretty crazy for me. Like, no one's probably ever done that on our team while Gibby's been here. So it was kind of like a uncharted territory. Um, you know, we just kind of kept everything the same. It was just a little more it was a little everything happened a little bit faster. Like the mileage went up
Okay.
kind of a little faster than we normally would. Um, we got to hard workouts quicker than normal. Um, but it ended up being a pretty easy training block. I mean, you know, training blocks are always tough. Like, y- uh, you get tired, and sometimes you're dealing with little injuries here and there, which I certainly had my fair share of, like during the cross country season. But all in all, is actually everything went pretty well, and it's just a very condensed training
Yeah.
block. Um, yeah, and it made it didn't feel really any different once I got kind of into the swings of things.
Okay. So I feel like throughout the season, or at least at the pre-nationals interview, you were saying that you've been feeling fitter compared to last season. But I would say one of the biggest differences going into last season, you were pretty much the clear favorite, having been undefeated. So how would you say like it differs, even though obviously you said you were fitter, but then you're just like still not winning as much as you were previously?
Yeah. So yeah, definitely from the outside. This year there was not really a clear favorite, I would say,
Mhm.
like at least how people were watching it. I don't think there's a single runner who came into the meet that like was undefeated. Um, you know, uh, you can go down the list, like, Habs beat me at Wisco,
Yeah.
but then Habs lost to Brian Massal the race before that. So then you look at Brian Massal, you're like, oh wow, he might be the best. But Brian Massal ended up losing to whoever at like conference or region or something.
Yeah.
Um, Habdom also lost to the guy from Solomon Kipchoge, like Parker Wolf lost at ACCs. Um, so it was a really cool season in that regard. Like, was that everyone was losing, which I love it. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome to like go into races like that when there's no favorites. It just
Mhm.
makes it that much cooler. It's a lot like college football this year too, which has been a lot of only one undefeated program, lots
Yeah.
of two loss, three loss teams. Um, so yeah, I think personally it makes it a lot more fun. Um,
Mhm.
but it didn't really change my mindset or anything going into the race. Like I still thought in my head that like I was the best runner. Or
Yeah.
like not the best runner, but that I could win the race and I would
Mhm.
be the best runner on that day. Like I trusted my training, and I thought really it was mine to lose in my head. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I still have the same confidence as I did the previous year. Um, if anything, I think I was in an even better headspace this year because I've experienced a lot since
Yeah.
NCAA's that last season. Like I experienced, winning an NCAA championship, setting a collegiate record, getting injured for months,
Mhm.
getting my butt kicked after getting off back on my feet, and then making an Olympic team and like competing in front of a huge crowd at like the on the biggest stage. Like, so I was really able to just kind of be a lot more relaxed this year. Um, just kind of move and at NCAA is just kind of enjoy the moment, be a little more grateful, and you know, just happy for the opportunity.
Okay. So then at NCAA's, I don't know, do you watch like reruns of your race ever? Like, did you watch like the NCAA race afterwards?
Yeah, yeah, I watched it with my roommates.
Okay. So I don't know. I just thought this was really funny. During the, I think it was the Arkansas runner. I forget his name. I think I feel like it's Yasin, something like that. But I don't know. I just did you see the comment on his hair by the announcer?
Yassine.
Yasin.
Yeah, they kept like making fun of his hair.
Uh-huh.
Like he's running out of his haircut.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine just
No,
like
that was pretty out of pocket.
yeah. I mean, that was
Yeah.
just kind of crazy to hear.
Uh-huh. Cross country,
Yeah.
man.
I don't know where they get these announcers. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I guess kind of just like how did you feel after winning back to back? One of very few people to ever do that.
Yeah, I mean it was really cool. I mean, I wouldn't say I was like freaking out or anything or in
Hmm.
disbelief. It just felt good to like get the job done. Um, and like I said, I was just really the main feeling was just gratitude, super grateful to get to compete in those types of races that are like amazing. Like I have such great, amazing competitors. I run for an amazing team, and like to get to run for my teammates, like it's awesome. So, yeah, I was just super grateful that I was able to win it a second time. Like to be a champion is also like something amazing. Like especially those big races.
Okay. So how does it like feel like cuz obviously cross country your season was a bit shorter than most people, but then you turned around. I think you did a 15-mile long run the day after NCAAs I saw on Strava. And then a week later you go and break 13. So just like how does your body feel after a training
Yeah,
block
yeah,
and then continuing so after for another week?
yeah. I don't honestly. We started doing that 5K thing 2 weeks after the NCAA meet my sophomore year, and it's kind of tough. Like there's always like one or two guys at Harvard that do it. So this year is me, and Shane Brosnan, and it's always tough to keep training, for a couple reasons. Like one, you know, the team season is over, and
Yeah.
like they can all finally relax, um, you know, kick back, don't have to worry about training anymore. And, you
Mhm.
kind of want to be in that zone with your teammates, but you have to kind of push it off for an extra 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The other hard part, which you're talking about, is like physically, it's really hard to keep training after two 10Ks, like in the span of like basically like what a week or two, like between regionals and it's like 10 days or so. It's like a very short period, and you run two 10Ks. Um, you still there?
Sorry. I don't know what happened there.
What's up?
Yeah.
Is it all good? It's still recording. Yeah, but it's hard to keep training
Mhm.
after like running two 10Ks really hard, like beats your body up pretty bad. Um, and yeah, I mean, um, I'm glad we do it though, because it's good to get to use the fitness, and for me to run under 13 and get the world standard, like that's huge for me. It's part of my job now, like is to like get these
Mhm.
standards and like make these teams to get to the world championships and stuff. So I'm glad that we were able to knock that out so early, and now I can kind of I don't have to find a perfectly paced 5K anywhere now. I can I got the standard. I can start training, focus on the 10K standard, and yeah, go from there.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. Most of this podcast, I feel like it's just been building up kind of towards this question of, um, you raced one indoor meet collegiately right after you turned around and forgoed your rest of college eligibility to sign pro. just like kind of what was the decision behind that? And I guess was it like how was it being an NIL with New Balances switching to just being fully sponsored?
Yeah, I mean, the decision was, really it was something we were thinking about already. Once I made the Olympic team, like kind of normally people will sign their contract and won't use out their eligibility. Um, but for me, I wanted to come back for cross country because I wanted to run for my team.
Yeah.
I wanted to try to win it again as a year of cross country because that's like the best part about running in college. So like I really wanted to make sure I could live out the rest of that experience. Um, but yeah, I decided to forego my eligibility. Like, for one, like it's gonna make my life a lot
Hmm.
easier. Um, it's gonna give me the best shot to be ready for the U.S. championships when they come around. So, for example, I don't have to ramp my training back up like I normally
Hmm.
do for indoors, um, because the NCAA schedule is super difficult. You're always racing and all year round, and you got to be ready. Um, so to be able to take it a little bit more, um, and yeah, I mean now I'm being under pro contract, so I'm being supported very well by New Balance.
Yeah.
And just want to yeah, I wanted I it was for me it's time to move on. I already felt pretty old, uh, because I took a gap year between high school and college, and I felt like maybe it was time to move on. Definitely didn't accomplish everything I wanted to, like, on the track, I guess, which, kind of sucks not to be able to try to, win a title or anything on the track, but, to win back-to-back national titles in cross, like, um, I mean, that's more than I could have ever asked for going into college, a few years ago, so, yeah, moving on to bigger adventures, bigger competitions,
Okay.
yeah.
So what's like the plan after college? Do you think you'll stick with Coach Gibby? Do you think you'll still live around Harvard? Do you think you'll move back down to Georgia even? Or like just kind of what's the idea?
Yeah, yeah. So definitely the plan is to stick with Gibby. I think he's a great fit for me so far. And,
Hmm.
I keep improving under him. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're gonna keep working together. Um, for me, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do yet, where I'm gonna base out of. I'm thinking about actually moving back to Georgia, just to kind of be based out of here, for the
Hmm.
first half of the year when, for professional running, you spend a lot of the first parts of the year just training, low key, building your mileage. But then I'll spend a lot of the other parts of my year, traveling to races, um, going to altitude, training at altitude and
Hmm.
Park City or hopefully St. Moritz in Switzerland, maybe even Flagstaff. But yeah, I'm excited to kind of New Balance is super supportive of everything I
Hmm.
do. So to be able to like kind of make my own decisions, try to set up a situation for me that's the best for me, just to be selfish and like really optimize everything for my
Hmm.
performance. Um, so it's going to be kind of a trial and error to figure out what works for me. But I have 3 years till the next Olympics, so I'm going to make sure by the time that rolls around, I'm in the best possible situation for me to
Hmm.
show up to the Olympics and try to win a race.
Okay. So this is a little random now. I guess I've pretty much, at least for racing wise, kind of gone back over everything I've missed since I last spoke to you. So just kind of switch up to more like conversational questions, I guess. Um,
Sounds good.
do you know KC and Cole Heron?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay. I was just wondering because they were hosting Wing. They were one of like the people at Wingfoot Running Camp. I forget what the council is there, and
yeah.
they were talking like they saw the interview with you, and we talked about it for a little bit, and they like said they used to race you, and then I just kind of got reminded to it because I see them all the time running at Cock and Shores Trail, and I saw them this morning,
Yeah.
so that was pretty fun.
Oh, nice. Did you see Casey's hand?
I did not.
Oh, you got to
Huh?
ask Casey about that if you see him.
Okay.
He had a little accident a couple weeks ago. Accidentally like basically chopped his one of his fingers off.
Really?
Yeah, you should ask him about
Oh,
it. But yeah,
okay.
but yeah, Casey and Cole like are my really good friends. I mean, they've been in Athens for a while now because they've been running for UGA. Unfortunately, I don't see them that often because I'm in Boston. And now when I'm coming back to Athens, they're probably gonna move somewhere else. But
Yeah.
you know yeah, yeah. I mean, they we got became friends because when I graduated high school, that was when COVID was going on. So
Mm-hmm.
I decided to take a gap year because it was, Harvard kind of like shuts stuff down. I didn't want to, I didn't. But UGA is still full. Like all their freshmen came in, and so I was in Athens. I had nothing to do, and so I texted like Casey and Cole, and I was like, "Yo, can I just like hang out with you guys?" And for like the first couple weeks, when they were freshmen, like at UGA, I just kind of like hung out with all the UGA guys, trained with them a little, um, and yeah, from there we kind of became friends. So yeah, that's cool area counselors.
Yeah. I mean, you can maybe have them as your paces for some workouts in the future. Come back down to Georgia.
That would be awesome. Pull up the Cochrane Trail.
Oh yeah.
Still need to check that place out.
Oh yeah. Next time you come to Georgia, you definitely need to come check it out.
Yeah.
Best trail in Georgia. I'll defend
Oh
that.
wow. Okay.
I'll defend that. Um, yeah, I think that's just pretty cool. Kind of seeing how it all connects. Because I remember learning when you were from Athens, and I was like, that's so cool. And we race this year. Your school, it's like Athens Academy or something, right?
Yep.
We raced them at states, so that was just pretty fun. Cause
Oh nice. Yeah.
I remember running and like seeing one of their jerseys or like singlets, and I was like, that looks so familiar.
Yeah.
And I looked back and I realized that's the same high school you went to.
Yep.
Their
Where do you
singlets.
go to school?
I go to Whitfield. It's
Oh
a
nice. Yeah, we talked about this before because I used to
yeah,
race Devon.
Devin. Yeah, Devin had a crazy season too. He was
Yeah,
one spot away from making NCAAs. So
I saw that. Was that
on
his final year?
yeah,
Oh man, that's so close. Good for
but
him though. He had a great career at Georgia Tech.
now his younger brother, I think, is just gonna try filling in for him next couple
Yeah.
of years. It's gonna be tough though. I think he ran, I think like a 23 flat, like a 22:30 or something, 8K.
Wow.
So he had
That's
a
fast.
definitely had a legit season. So that's
Hmm.
pretty happy to hear. Okay. This next question, I guess, this is one I kind of thought about yesterday. Just kind of came in my head. If you could only wear like one pair of shoes for the rest of your life between trainers, super shoes, and spikes for everything, like easy runs, workouts, races, what would it be? And what
Oh
specific shoe would
shoot.
it be? I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah. I think I know what it is. You know, I wouldn't do spikes because I want to be able to train. I would get hurt. I already know I would get hurt if I tried to train spikes all the time.
Yeah.
Um, I wouldn't do super shoes. Shoot, you kind of probably, I just don't like super shoes. So I'm not gonna say super shoe. So it's actually this trainer from New Balance called the Balos,
Okay.
Balos. Best shoe. I'm not paid to say this, although I kind of am. It's the best running shoe I've ever worn. It's amazing for daily runs.
Hmm.
I honestly want to work out in them, but I just like haven't done it. Um, but yeah, I would pick those because I think they would be the best for mixing training and like workouts. And then shoot, I'll bite the bullet. I'll race in them, whatever. I'll have the best
Check it
shot
out.
if I'm using those because I'll be able to actually train and get to the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Balos, Balos. It's awesome.
Okay. I think honestly, one of the best shoes I've ever worn is the New Balance Rebel. I think I don't know what
Yeah,
version it's at now,
yeah, I
but
work out in those.
I love those shoes so much. I think,
Yeah, they're awesome.
yeah. Okay. So I guess I'll ask you this now. Um, I said cross. I actually cross what you prefer cross country track. Last time I talked to you, but now this time, I mean, it's gonna be a big change because there's not much professional cross country. So like, how do you feel just going into like maybe like one cross country meet at most if you're lucky?
Oh yeah, kind of sucks because I love cross country, but I got 4 years of collegiate cross country, which is great. And I was never hurt during all four of those. So Um, it was a good time, but yeah, it sucks to not do cross country that much, but whenever I get the opportunity, I will do it. So like I'm gonna try to make the U.S. team for the World Championships in Tallahassee
Okay.
next year. So definitely gonna do that. And then yeah, if there's more World Cross Country Championships in the future, like I'll do them. I know they put on like some cross country meets in like in Europe that are like World Athletics certified, so you can like build
Mhm.
your world ranking from them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to doing stuff like that because I do think I have like one of my biggest strengths is running cross country. So I would love to test the
Okay.
waters out against other people.
Yeah. I mean, that would be great because I feel like the U.S. really does need to kind of step into the game of professional running in general. I feel like if you want to run really anything, you have to go over to Europe or like another country.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, I feel like it's only getting worse, at least collegiately. I don't know how the professional side is looking too much, but
Hmm.
you kind of got out of it. I feel like at a decent time. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I guess this is more of a random question too. I guess if you what like track and field event do you think is like the most athletic overall? Like if there was one event that could do everything, what do you think it would be?
One event that could do everything.
Yeah, I mean you can't say like pentathlon though.
Yeah, I was gonna say can't say that, huh?
Yeah,
I'd probably say um honestly I'll say like triple jump
triple jump.
because yeah, you gotta be like a freak athlete to do that because
Yeah.
not only do you have to sprint really fast,
Hmm.
um, you also have to jump really far, but you also have to be super strong. Like you have to, be able to jump off that leg like 3 times, like super hard. Like
Yeah.
those dudes and women are so strong. Like they literally have their legs actually like adapt to they pound really hard on the
Mhm.
triple jump. Like when they explode, that their bones like build up and their bones are
Mhm.
bigger and stronger. So I feel like those athletes are yeah, that is just a ridiculous event. Like I don't even know how it came to be an event. So you have
Mhm.
to be like a really good athlete to compete in that.
Okay. So, who would you say had the most like successful professional track and field season? Like you can do anyone from like a field event to like anyone who sprints or does distance or anything really.
In the world?
Yes.
In the world?
Uh-huh.
In the world. Okay. Dang. Probably have to go with I mean from last year I would have to go with I mean it'd either be I'll say on the men's side I'll pick I mean on the women's side it'll be Faith Kipyegon for sure. Actually, I don't know.
Mhm.
I think Safan Hassan had a crazy season. She almost she what did she triple at the Olympics?
She did triple.
5K, 10K marathon or something.
That's
That's
brutal. I
crazy.
don't know how someone's
So I'll
body
say
can
either her,
handle
or Faith
that.
Kipyegon. Yeah, and then on the men's side, I'd probably say, I mean, you probably have to say Mondo because he's so dominant.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, either Mondo or like Tobogo, just because Tobogo,
Mhm.
had a great Olympics.
Yeah. I feel like Mondo, he's just one of those guys who could like really be successful in almost anything he does.
Mhm. Yeah,
Because then you saw him race the. I mean, that must have been brutal to get beaten by a pole vaulter in a 100 when you're a 400
yeah,
meter runner.
isn't
That
that
would be,
funny?
yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I don't think I really have any more questions for you. I feel like kind of caught up and asked you any more
Sweet, bro.
questions. So unless there's anything
Sweet. I
else you
think
want to
those were
add,
good questions.
thank you.
No, I think those were great questions.
Okay. So if you want to add anything, you can, and if not, I'll wrap it up.
No, sir. Wrap it up.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for coming on today, and thank you everybody for watching. So, have a great day, and hope to have a third interview with you one day, maybe, or maybe even a workout video if you come back to
Absolutely.
Georgia.
Dude, that would
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
be we could set that up.
Oh yeah, definitely. Right now, I think I have one set up with Casey and
All right.
Cole actually.
See you, bro.
See ya.
Oh, really? See ya.
Uh-huh.